Welcome to the Get Trauma Informed podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of trauma, its pervasive impact, and the journey towards holistic recovery and realignment. If your radiance has ever felt muted, like I and thousands of others, you're in the right place to reignite your inner light. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast. Trauma does not only show up in romantic relationships. It shows up in business, it shows up in ministry, it shows up in partnerships, and it shows up in places where you were called to lead. And if you're not careful, that same childhood wound that made you shrink in relationships will make you overextend, overgive, and overtrust in business. Betrayal hurts. But betrayal from people you believed in hits differently. Welcome back to the Get Trauma Informed podcast. I'm your host, peer-to-peer wellness coach Liz Blanding. Today, I want to take us into a different kind of relationship that trauma affects. This is not romantic. This is not family. This is business. Because your trauma story does not stay personal. It follows you into every space where trust is required. See, there was a season in my life when I partnered with people in business who did not have my best interests at heart. On the outside, it looked like they were building something, that we were building something together that was powerful. But on the inside, I was carrying emotional weight, the workload, and the responsibility almost alone. I found myself overgiving because I wanted to prove my value. I stayed in partnerships even when I felt uneasy because I did not want to disappoint anyone. I tolerated disrespect because confrontation made me uncomfortable. I performed at a high level while accepting low treatment. When you grow up in trauma, you learn to earn your place. You learn to work from acceptance. You learn to keep the peace at all costs. And those same patterns follow you into business if you do not recognize them. I ignored red flags. I ignored instinct. I ignored the tension in my spirit. And I convinced myself that if I just worked harder, gave more, and stayed loyal, the relationship would improve. What I did not understand at that time was that trauma had taught me to confuse exploitation with opportunity. And that is why business betrayal cuts so deeply. It touches the same wounds that were created in childhood. The wounds of being overlooked, the wounds of being used, the wounds of being unprotected, the wounds of being taken for granted. See, trauma survivors often enter business relationships with patterns such as, number one, overfunctioning, doing more than your share because you fear being seen as not enough. And number two, overgiving, investing time, money, and emotional labor into people who do not reciprocate. Number three, over trusting, trusting people based on potential rather than character. And number four, avoiding confrontation, staying silent because you fear tension or rejection. Number five, people pleasing, saying yes even when your spirit is saying no. And number six, ignoring warning signs, staying loyal to people who have shown you who they are. These patterns come from trauma, not incompetence. A trauma survivor will endure mistreatment longer than the average person because they learn to survive toxic environments. This creates emotional, spiritual, and financial trauma in business. You may lose money, you may lose confidence, you may lose your footing, but you also lose trust in yourself. And that is the part that hurts the most. You see, the trauma-informed girl in me had to learn that boundaries belong in business just as much as they belong in relationships. She had to learn that partnerships required alignment, not attachment. She had to learn that loyalty is sacred and should not be given to people who dishonor it. She had to learn that respect is not optional. See, in recovery, I learned how to say, no, that does not work for me. I cannot commit to that. I need clarity. I need fairness. I deserve respect. And most importantly, I learned that I am allowed to walk away from any table where I am no longer valued. That lesson changed everything. Let me share with you a tool for financial trauma awareness and business boundaries. And yes, back to our journaling. I want you to ask yourself these questions before entering or continuing a partnership. Number one, does this relationship feel mutual or one-sided? If it feels one-sided, pause. Number two, am I showing up out of purpose or out of fear? Fear-driven decisions create trauma-driven outcomes. Let's repeat this one. Fear-driven decisions create trauma-driven outcomes. Number three, am I losing money, time, or emotional peace in this relationship? Loss of peace is the first warning sign. And number four, do I feel safe expressing concerns or asking questions? If the answer is no, that is a boundary violation. And number five, is this partnership aligned with my values, vision, and calling? Alignment is the foundation of purpose-driven work. See, boundaries are not barriers, they are protection. They keep you and your purpose safe. They keep your calling intact. Our spiritual reflection in scripture teaches us, by their fruit, you will know them. People can speak well, they can present well, they can carry charisma, but character is revealed in fruit, not performance. God does not require you to stay in relationships, partnerships, or environments where the fruit is rotten. He calls us to wisdom. He calls us to discernment. He calls us to steward what He gave us. And walking away is sometimes the most spiritual act of stewardship we can make. If you have ever felt exploited, overlooked, undervalued, or misled in business relationships, level 2 is your next step. Level 2 trauma recovery, one breath at a time, will help you heal financial trauma, rebuild emotional confidence, strengthen boundaries, stop people pleasing, make decisions from clarity instead of survival, protect your calling and your purpose. Your work deserves safety. Your calling deserves protection. Your purpose deserves alignment. Level 2 will help you reclaim your confidence and stand in emotional power. We are recovering one breath at a time. Give yourself grace and stay fearless. Bye for now.
It's time to buckle up. No more suffering in silence. Our Power Pack journey to recovery and realignment starts now. Remember, you were collateral damage on someone else's warpath. Trauma is not your fault. Recovery, however, is your responsibility. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast.